Yeah! Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Maurice Brown Comedy Show on bogradio.fm, where we interview actors, comedians, screenwriters, directors every Monday through Friday, right here on bogradio.fm at 9 a.m. Eastern. We have a special guest today with us. Please welcome an award-winning actress who commands attention, a keen performer who breathes life and vitality in all of her roles. I know, I've watched her for years. She's tremendous. She just recently received the Best Supporting Actress Award for her role in My Seven Grandmas. You can also see her in films like Running the Bases, Surprised by Oxford, and the crime series faith-based Vindication. Please welcome to the show the very talented Candace Kirkpatrick. What's up, Candace?
Hello, my friend. It's always so good to join you. And, I should just walk around with you. Like, we need a hype man.
Yes, I could.
The rest of my day that's not going like any of those things. So anyway, yeah.
Well, you are a tremendous actress, Candace. No question about it. We've known each other for a few years now, and I've seen a lot of your work, and I've mentioned some of the works that you are a part of. But I want to start off with your most recent effort in the film My Seven Grandmas, where you were the Best Supporting Actress selected by the committee at the International Christian Film and Music Festival in Orlando, Florida. And that film also includes comedian Jeff Allen, who makes, I would guess, his debut as a lead. And he was actually nominated for Best Actor. My Seven Grandmas got a lot of nominations at the festival. Tell us about this film for which you received Best Supporting Actress.
Well, I guess I should clarify. I won the Best Supporting Actress in a feature film for Porch Pirates. I was in two films running simultaneously. And when I was nominated for one, I took myself out of the category for being nominated again for Best Supporting Actress. But
oh, wow.
Anyway, so, but I do love My Seven Grandmas. And Porch Pirates, though, I play the feisty Maria. She is stubborn and headstrong, opinionated, but she has a deep love for family, a deep love for God, and for It's a Wonderful Life. Those are the things she cares about. Anyway, so in My Seven Grandmas, which I absolutely love, the premise is, or you want me to give you the premise of it?
Yes.
Okay. The premise is, I don't know you know this, but I lived in Minnesota for 2.5 years. Candace did. And I just could not believe it was from God, because I used to say, hey, God, why would you move a Floridian to Minnesota? And I was there for my husband's job. It was just so stinking cold. And every time I pumped gas, it would say -9. And I'm like, is that broken? Or, So anyway, which is why this premise will make sense. In the film, the mother dies. My mother dies in the winter time, but she cannot be buried because the ground is cold. This is so up your alley, Maurice. Anyway, she can't be. It's such a funny premise. She can't be buried because the ground is too cold. So the film begins. I and my daughter, I'm a single mom, we're flying back to Minnesota to do the burial. Let's say it's like 5 months later or 6 months later from the actual funeral. And when we arrive, we realize that my dad, played by Jeff Allen, is completely fallen apart. He's not paying the bills and the house is just ransacked. It's horrifying. And it's decided that I, as the oldest sibling, need to stay there and take care of him because I'm an IT person. I can work from home. Well, I have a daughter who we're coming in for the funeral and the burial from sunny California. She has no desire to leave. So the film is about how she is scheming to get us back to California. And she meets some old ladies who are friends of the library who work there, and she befriends them, all with the intention is if she can get Grandpa remarried, we can pass him off and get back to Minnesota. But nothing, as you know, happens the way best laid plans of mice and men. So that is the premise. It is very hysterically funny, but it's also heartwarming and has a beautiful, beautiful redemptive message. And at ICFF, it won Best Feature and Best Director, and at Christian Worldview Film Festival in Albany, Georgia, it won Best Feature Audience Choice Award as well as second place for Best Gospel Presentation. So those are all the things that I'm very excited about for it. So,
Well, it got a lot of attention at the festival. I was there, and of course, for my nomination for in the short film category for Unknown Kingdom, and there were a lot of representatives from that film, My Seven Grandmas, and nominations as well. And I want for our audience just to get an idea of the film. I'm going to play the trailer if you don't mind.
I want to say I think the film is 1,000 times better than the trailer. So anyway, keep that in mind when you watch the trailer.
Ladies and gentlemen, keep that in mind as you watch the trailer by Seven Grandmas.
Are you new here?
Yeah, just moved from California.
Why?
I know, right?
Don't you think the park is a little much?
It is freezing.
It's 53 degrees.
Stay warm out there.
You're from California, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. What brings you back?
my life sucks.
We are here for Grandpa. Every dish was dirty. The trash was stacked up.
Did you just take off your socks wherever you are?
How do you do it?
What's this? Every bill since Mom died, unopened and unpaid.
We have a situation. You just need someone to take care of them.
Still trying to figure out a way to get out of here. What's this Friends of the Library?
Volunteers that help us put books back on the shelves.
Is there anything fun to do around here?
I did a puzzle.
Really don't have fun. We try to be the hands and feet of Jesus in our community.
Would you like to join us for our next meeting?
Yeah, I'm not really religious or anything.
You made some friends.
No, there are like 100.
That is so thoughtful of you. Isn't he a sweetie?
What do you got going on?
I know what you're doing.
You know what?
You are trying to set us up with your grandpa.
It's been 45 years since I asked anybody out.
This is Dolly. She likes puzzles. What did you say to her?
I told her I like puzzles too.
And?
That's it.
The Bible says we're supposed to be equally yoked with our spouse.
What church did you and Grandma go to?
Grandma went, I didn't go.
Do you want to go with me sometime?
Yeah, in a casket.
I love it. Great trailer. And you know, Jeff Allen is just funny. That's the perfect role for Jeff Allen.
He was fabulous in it.
Yeah.
He was
There's
fabulous.
no doubt.
But I don't think the trailer captures all of the humor. There's so much humor in this film, nor does it capture the depth and the heart. I don't know. The heart of the film and the depth. I don't know. I just hope people, I'm not sure right now when it will be released. The premiere of it, the red carpet premiere, is the first week in June in Minnesota, where we filmed it. We filmed it all over Minnesota. And then I'm not sure yet about distribution or any of that. But I can't wait for people to see it because I think people will absolutely love it. I think they will. It's just fun and charming and uplifting. And when I say presents the gospel, I believe it presents the gospel in an authentic, organic manner without beating somebody over the head. And so that's some of the things I love about it.
Okay, well, Candace, I think I will love it, and I can't wait to see it. And Jeff is just hilarious in there. You know, by the way, you said you were originally from Minnesota as well?
No, I lived there for 2.5 years.
Okay.
I'm
And you
from
did.
Florida. I am from Florida.
All
Floridians.
right. Good.
moved to
Good. Good.
Minnesota.
So when you were up there in Minnesota, they didn't. Those nasty Viking fans did not coerce you into becoming a fan, did they?
No, 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 no. I was too
Good.
busy raising kids. I was busy
Good.
being a mom.
Good, because I'm a Packer fan and I don't have. Anyway, I'll leave it alone. But I love the Packers. Anyway, Candace, let's get back to this great art of acting. Our buddy, because Jeff's a friend of mine as well.
Oh, good.
He was also nominated, as I said, for Best Actor. What was it like working with Jeff Allen?
I love Jeff. I absolutely love Jeff. And since working, I had already seen him do a stand-up comedy show before we went out and filmed that. But since filming that, we have become very good friends. Like I can just pick up my phone and text him, "Hey, did you see da 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 da? What do you think of this?" or whatever. You know what I mean? And he is wonderful. He is fully present. He is fully present when he is there, and when he's not there, he's like, "Okay, I'm going to go play golf. I'm going to go play a couple rounds of golf. I'll see y'all later." I mean, but when he's there, he is fully there. And it was. I think there are so many sweet and tender moments and funny moments. And anyway, I think it was a joy working with him. It really was.
Jeff's a really good stand-up comic for sure. He's been in that game for a long time, and he's versatile. And I'm glad to see that he's getting into the acting world as well. I want to ask you something about acting because I've had a chance to dabble with it here over the last 7 or 8 years, here and there. And one of my big questions is, crying on camera. And you are an actress that has a pretty broad range, and I know that that's something you can do. What is your method for crying on camera? And are you one of those actresses that can cry on cue?
Yes and yes, but the thing is, there's different. It's funny. I was on Jeff Allen's podcast, which is called "Who Gave Jeff Allen a Podcast?" And anyway, he's talking about that because I'll just share things. There's different methods of getting to that place in your life, and some people it's easier than others, and others use different techniques to get there. So, in one school of thought, there's this as if, like. In the scene at the gravesite, at the gravesite. So we're walking in to go bury the mom, and we're sitting there, while the pastor is giving, the eulogy, etc. And we're just bawling. Well, Jeff had in his mind, he had created a situation that would get him to that place.
Okay.
And if you listen to the podcast that I did with him, he tells you how I ruined it for him by the 6th or 7th take. He said, I ruined it. So anyway, but for me, I don't know. I mean, yes, I have a bachelor's, I have a master's, I have trained in, Stanislavski, Stella Adler, Uta Hagen, and years of Sandy Meisner to give complete access to all of your emotions. Well, but for me personally, I just put myself in the scene right there in the scene. I don't have to think of something else. I make myself fully present in the scene. And that just gives me, I hope authenticity and truthfulness in the moment. So that is what I personally do. But other people, they will use something from their past. Like Sandy Meisner says, don't use anything from your past that you have not dealt with in a healthy manner. Like if you're still grieving the loss of something and like if I draw from that, I'm going to have a breakdown here and I'm going to have to like be excused for an hour to cry or something. Don't touch it. Yeah. Some people use it. So they'll find something as, okay, it was as if this just happened and that is what they will use to get them in that moment. As I shared, for me personally, you put me in the scene and it's called a suspension of belief. But when you're in the scene, you're believing this has actually really just happened. I am really at the funeral. So for me, when I'm sitting there with the casket right there and the large portrait of my mom on a easel right beside the casket and the pastor's talking, I'm already there. So I don't have to draw from anything from my past. So
I don't know if are you familiar with Mark Christopher Lawrence?
yes, I am.
Mark is a stand-up comedian and also an actor.
Yes, I've seen a lot of his work.
And he's a very funny guy, but as funny as he is as a stand-up, he might even be a better actor. And he shared with me a story about going to a place to get that level of emotion of crying and sadness. And he said he went to a place where he completely encapsulated the stage with the grief that he was presenting. And he said he went so deep with it that it like lasted for days.
Yeah, see, I personally, for me, I would not find that healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to be fully present in this scene, authentic, real, with whatever's going on. And then the next scene, I'm at, the ice cream shop with my child. We're getting ice cream and, and it's dribbling all over me. As an actress, I need to be able to adjust like that. And because I believe, truthfully, that is how life is. You have pain and sorrow running parallel tracks with joy and happiness and celebration. And they're always coexisted, together. And I think if I was going to be at the funeral and then stuck in this wave of sorrow for days, that would not be healthy for me, and it would not be good for the film. And like, okay, we got to wait till Candace comes out of this so we can do these lighter scenes. So to me, it's a suspension of reality. I mean, believing in this scene, this is happening right this moment, fully living in it in the moment. And then when that is done, then you're okay. And then you go on to the next scene. So, but
I did it.
That's me personally.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And everyone has different styles and of mastering their craft. I did a movie in 2016 called Love Different with Jen Gotzon.
She just had a birthday a couple days ago. I love her. She's delightful.
So I'm in this film, first time I had ever been in a film, and I'm with Jen Gotzon in the scene, and she's able to cry on cue. I saw Jen Gotzon and Anthony Hackett before the scene praying themselves to tears before the shot.
What she does for her.
It was utterly amazing. I went, whoa. And I thank God I didn't have to cry at that scene. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. But the reason I bring it up is I've always had a tremendous amount of admiration for actors that can do that, because it's utterly amazing.
But I also want to say too, there are some people. Okay, there's some people who don't, they're not sobbing and they're not like full crying in the whatever the scene is.
Yeah.
But you, as a viewer watching, you so empathize with what they're going through. Even if they're not crying, sobbing, you are as a viewer watching it because, again, you're sympathizing and empathizing with what they're experiencing. And to me, it's not like whether you see tears or not. It's whether it is truthful. If somebody is conveying truth in the scene of what is happening at that given moment, you will believe it and go with them into that scene, and you will experience what they're experiencing.
Yes.
And to me, so it's the truth and the believability and the authenticity.
I wanted to go off script just for a moment, just out of my own personal curiosity. I did watch some of your interview with Jeff, and you were talking about how you had gotten your scholarship because you had to. I have to get a scholarship, and you were valedictorian of your class. You made it to college. You didn't have to pay a dime, which is amazing, particularly in this day and age.
Right.
So, which leads me to my question, the off-script question, if you may entertain me for just a moment. Do you think that a college education today is as important as it used to be?
I think that is different for every single individual.
Okay.
You know, where I did my master's was very good for me. That was so good. And I'll try and explain it as quickly as I can.
Okay.
I have done stage and theater since I was 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And all the way through undergraduate school, like you can, you could do a play 30 nights in a row, or except you'd have either Sunday evening off and Monday off, but Sunday matinee. So let's say Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday matinee, Saturday evening, and then a Sunday matinee. So that's 8 shows usually. And you're doing the same play over and over and over. And how do you keep each moment fresh every time you give the performance as if it's just happening now? Okay.
Okay.
So, and then some days, some moments would be richer than the other or more or fuller. Okay.
Hmm.
And so then when I got my master's and I studied, like when I got my master's in Meisner, that was 2 years of like 6 days a week, like 10, 12-hour days. And plus, then I was doing professional theater at nighttime when I wasn't doing classes and stuff all the day.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was learning a technique to me that works for me. Like people combine all different methods, but that really gave me access so that I could be completely honest. Like you do your work, you analyze a script, you know what is my character need at this given moment, what are the obstacles I have to overcome to get what I need, what is my action here, what do I, what are the stakes that are up against me. And you understand that by doing the script analysis. But then once you get in the scene, you let it go, you let all that prep work you have done on the script, and you just operate moment to moment with the other actor who is in front of you. And they're going to change every day as well. Now, if I've come in there, this is what I'm going to do every single time on this particular line, how he says his line, then I'm not operating truthfully in the moment. Because
Right.
what if that day he just had to put down his dog? It's going to impact how he's saying lines to me, no matter how professional it is. There's going to be an emotional depth that's happening there. If I've done all my homework and all my prep work, then when I come on set, whether it's film or stage or whatever, then I'm operating truthfully in the moment. What do I need from him? What am I going to get from him? And how am I going to make it happen? And it's that transaction between each other which creates the richness of a scene. So when I went and got to graduate school, I then was given the skills, the tools to have, to me, I think, complete access to what it is, not only script analysis and dissecting a character and understanding their motivation and understanding, the goals and obstacles and all that kind of stuff and the actions needed. I understood all that, but it's how to be truthful in the moment after doing all of that prep work before I come to the set. Now, nowadays, though, there are so many wonderful film schools that people can go to. I'm going to say this too. And if you're thinking of entering this as an actor, also take a business class. I'm just saying it. I wish anybody would have said, take a business class, because the more you understand the business, the more successful you can be in this, because so much of it is business related. But for young people starting out, I'd say get involved, like at youth theater, get involved everywhere you can plug in. If you can get yourself on set, learning all the different parts of crew, whether it's lighting or set design or costume or hair or wardrobe or shadowing the director or first AD or learning, to be a gaffer, any of the things that you can gain access to, that you can put tools in your toolbox that will make you an asset on any set. And the more you're behind the camera seeing all of that, I think the more effective you will be also in front of the camera, because you will know then, like film is very different from stage. Film, you will learn, okay, this angle here or that angle, or I'm operating with this framework. Whereas on stage, I'm covering a whole stage, projecting out to, an audience that's really far away or whatever, you know what I mean? So I think there are many ways to get the skills that you need. So whether it's going through a well-respected college that has a strong acting program or film program or screenwriting program, or it's getting yourself continually on sets with people that you respect, that you are learning from all the time, or a combination of both of those. And I think that differs for each person. So I could not say, cookie cutter, everybody's path is the same.
Yeah, I've developed the belief that in this day and age, because of the high cost of higher education,
Right.
If you're not someone that's the beneficiary, as you were, of a scholarship, a free ride, chances are there are other ways to reach your goals.
Yeah.
And you just described another avenue for an actor, for example, or even a screenwriter or director. Be a gaffer, get on set, talk to other actors, talk to other directors, go to a film school, which is considerably cheaper than higher education as far as a 4-year college. So I just wanted to get your feedback on that, because it is so expensive to go to school in 2025 just to get a degree. And I could go on, I can get on my soapbox and I won't do it, but I wanted to get your feedback on that. And I think it's very helpful, particularly for young actors.
I would say the more they can, again, I have a bachelor's and a master's, so praise the Lord, because of his grace and goodness. My parents could not have afforded to send me to school ever. So that's why I worked my tail off. I got my degree. I got a full ride for undergrad and graduate school, 2 different schools, but I thank the Lord for that. But as you said, there are so many avenues. And the thing is, you want to make yourself indispensable on a set. That why would they choose you over the other 1,000 people who are also submitting either for that role or for that position on a film or whatever? And so again, we have to earn the right to be at the table. We cannot just show up, I think, and do cheesy work and think, okay, this is okay. You know what I mean? Or shoddy work and think, okay, that's good. No, I think if we are, to me, everything we do is for an audience of one, everything. And if we are to exalt him, I think we got to do all of our work with such excellence that is what will draw people who may not go into a church, but they would go into a movie and see something. And there might be something on the screen that causes them to reflect or to examine their actions or their belief system, their worldview, or anything like that. And that will only happen if we have, excellent scripts, as well as excellent, cinematography and actors and lighting and sound. If they can dismiss us like, oh, that's poor quality, then they're dismissing the message, and it won't matter how good the message is. So the craft matters as much as the message, I believe. I believe they both have to go hand in hand. So that's my personal opinion. And however you can get that, whether it's shadowing somebody, taking classes, going to a university, going to a film school, studying under other screenwriters, whatever it is, I think get the skill set that you need that would make you competitive. And it's not, they tell you we're not to compare ourselves to others, but we want to be of such excellence that others will look at us and say, yeah, I want to work with that person. That's what I mean.
Candace, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching and listening to the Maurice Brown Comedy Show on bogradio.fm, talking with actress Candace Kirkpatrick. Candace, do you ever struggle with the kind of role that you'll take?
Absolutely. I spend more time than your average person on a role. I mean, I'm being honest. I research the director. I research the writer. I see if I can find their director's reel or the writers. What else have they done? I look at, because oftentimes you are not given the full script. You're just given your sides to audition with. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, what if, and this is happened to me many times. The character I'm playing is really wonderful. It's great. I love the character from this based on the sides that I have received, and not know that the entire script is going to take a completely different turn. Okay. So I do so much research before I accept even to audition, you know?
Yeah.
I do. And then sometimes after I get the sides and I see them, I'm like, yeah, I'm probably not the right person for this. And then I respectfully decline the audition. Like, thank you for wanting me to audition for this, but and then I'm sorry, you know, I will give a professional and a respectful answer, releasing myself from that so that they can, you know, look at all the other people who have said yes to that. And I have to say that is me personally, because if I don't want to invite my family to it or my children to it or something, or I don't want to promote it, then I better not be a part of it. Yet, and I say this, there are other people of faith in this industry that I love and respect who believe they are called to go onto every set, no matter the content or the material, because they feel that God has called them to be a light on those other sets. They may be the only believer on those sets. And so they'll say yes. And my job is not to condemn them, because that is between them and the Lord, you know. And there are people that I know who believe that, whom I love and respect. So, but for me personally, God's call in my life, I go, no, I don't think that that is something that I should audition or say yes to.
If you were to go onto Netflix today, you would find faith-based films like I Still Believe, The Chosen, season 5, I believe, or episode 5 is on there, and also Forgiven with Jen Gotson and Kevin Sorbo, and a couple of others.
Yes.
My question
That
to
is
you is,
new because of the new CEO of Netflix. So that is so
okay.
I'm thankful for that. I mean, there's a series being filmed here that's the feature film came out on Netflix there. I'm going to say, and I could be wrong, like 21, 22, that did very well. It was kids going away to a Christian camp, and it was called A Week Away. And it did very well on Netflix before the CEO came over. And because of it, they've made a series out of it. They're creating a series right now out of it that's going directly to Netflix. So go back to your question now.
So with all of that being said, what is in your mind the condition of faith-based films in America today?
I think there's more and more content coming out all the time. I mean, I watched like just clips from the American Idol this season.
Mm-hmm.
So many Christian singers that they did a whole national television show on one night with just like gospel singing with like Carrie Underwood and Brandon Lake and all these others coming in, and CeCe Winans and all of it. And I think now more people are unashamed of their faith and realizing it is a part of who I am. And it's also impacts what I do and what I say yes to. And I think because of that, there is far more faith-based content coming out now. And now they use a word called like faith adjacent, where it may not have a strong like gospel altar call, but it represents morals and faith values and Christian values. So there's far more stuff coming out like that. And I think there are groups that have just raised the bar in it, like the Irwin brothers and John Gunn and Richard Ramsey and Brett McCorkle. They have been doing such, biopics, etc., of really strong films, like top-notch cast, the production value and the quality. I mean, like even the stuff that's, on Amazon now, and the Wonder stuff with John Irwin and, the House of David, there's these large things that have come out I mean, since The Chosen, I mean, that is like global, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think there's better quality and more content coming out, and people are less afraid now. And I think, you know, most of Hollywood, it's a money's thing. Like,
Yeah.
and when they see that, like the success of like I Can Only Imagine or Jesus Revolution or American Underdog or War Room or any of those, and they're like, okay, there's a whole group of the pie that we're not reaching with our content. So how do we, so they have divisions like Lionsgate within, you know, other places, or a firm within Sony, or different things that they are saying, okay, we need to have this department as well, creating content so we can reach more people. Now, whether they personally, these CEOs of these large film are saying, I believe in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. I don't believe that. But if they are putting out, they see the value of it because there's such a large demand for it, then to me, that is a win-win. And let God work on their heart and let the content be brought forth if it's done in excellence, so that people will at least see it. And then it does, I think, draw them closer to the Father.
So I was talking with Cameron Arnett last week, and I asked him a question about faith-based films, and I want to ask you the same question. My wife, as you know, is from Brazil, and we spent about 3 weeks over there recently. And one thing that I noticed about Brazil, like, for example, The Forge is #1 in Brazil. The Chosen is #1 in Brazil. And I can go on and on with other faith-based projects that are #1 in Brazil. And I've noticed not only in Brazil, but other parts of the world where faith-based films seem to get higher rankings and closer attention, more so than here in the United States. I don't know if you have noticed that, feel that way, and if that is true, why do you think it is?
I think maybe there's less gatekeepers.
Okay.
I think there's more gatekeepers here, and there's also more critics who, as soon as they see any kind of like Jesus thing on it, you know, they will shred it. You know what I mean? Like the Reagan film. I saw the other day, what's his name? Sean McNamara, the director of that. You know, like the critics, like, I don't know why they did not like it, but it scored huge in the box office. It did extremely well. It ranked very high on Rotten Tomatoes and everything else. But I don't know. Only God can change a heart. And praise God for what he's doing globally and internationally, that more and more people are seeing this kind of content and responding in a favorable manner. I don't think it's our job to twist people's arms, you got to believe, or anything like that. I think our job is to truthfully present the gospel in a way that respects the viewer, respects the audience enough that they can see for themselves, and they have a heart-to-heart encounter with the Lord, because only God can transform a heart or a life. So I just want to say praise God for what he is doing and what he is going to do, and how incredible that we get to even be a part of it. That is just, amazing.
Yes, it is. We were talking earlier at the beginning of this interview about your Best Supporting Actress Award. And I mistakenly said for My Seven Grandmas, although a very good film, it was for Porch Pirates. Tell us a little bit about the film. You did tell us a little bit about Porch Pirates, but just give us a little bit more background on that film.
Well, it was Jeff Hamm's first feature film. It's interesting. I need to do more. I'm just ashamed. Jeff Hamm was like in a Christian rock band in the 80s. Like, I mean, like traveled all over. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe in the 90s. So probably in the 90s.
Okay.
Anyway, and then he was making shorts, films, and things in his area. He lives in Texas. And then he has a support system there of men who believe in what he's doing. And he said, okay, let's do your first feature film. And this was his first feature film. And it's not like a very high budget film at all. So I was happy actually for him. And it was fun for me to get to play this character. She's a real fun character, but she goes through the gamut of emotions, which I love. I love where you get to explore the happy, the sad, and the painful, and everything in between, because I believe that's life. So I was grateful to play this character, but the premise is I'm married to a cop, and my brother-in-law is a cop, and there are these porch pirates that are stealing at Christmas time all the gifts and things like that. My brother lost his wife, and so he keeps ducking out of family events. And so my character, who cares deeply about family and about God and relationships, is running alongside what they're doing, which is trying to catch these porch pirates. So anyway, yeah.
Well, is there any way that we can see Porch Pirates?
Porch Pirates is out everywhere. You can catch it almost on like 6, 7, 8 different platforms.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, it's out. But but again, it was his first feature film. And so it won a bunch of awards at 4 or 5 Texas festivals. There's a Cannes account, not the Cannes, but there's another one that's in Cannes as well, that
Okay.
it won as well. And it's, and that he got nominated for Best Director, as a first-time director at ICFF, which was lovely. And now it's in a Texas independent film where it's got like 5, 6, 7 nominations as well. But he's already now finished his second film it's a pickleball movie. So I know that he is working very hard on that one right now. But
Okay.
I just, I'm excited because, when I first worked with Jared in Vindication, he started off making that first episode was like a 23-minute short film. He had no knowledge that he would be making a feature or a series, an episodic. He didn't know that. He was making a short film and then releasing it. But it was at the last film festival that he had it at that he said, I think you should make a series out of it. And he was like, oh, no, I want to make this now. And they're like, no, I think you should consider it. And so then he made a second one. Again, it could stand alone as a short film, let's say 25 minutes. It wasn't until he was in the middle of doing that he really found his calling. And each episode, like season 4 is out now, each episode gets stronger and stronger. And Jared is the screenwriter, the showrunner, the director. Initially, he's also the editor, the colorist. He was doing everything at the beginning. And now his world has just exploded with the content he is creating, as well as the value. I think every season it gets deeper and deeper, and the stakes become higher and higher. And so anyway, I mean, so many people I love are in that series, and I just want to say hats off to Jared. And the reason I'm bringing it up, he said he believes he's just now touching where he believes he is going as a director. So,
well, Vindication is a faith-based crime series for you folks out there that are not aware, and I highly advise that you check it out because it is just as interesting and as entertaining and cutting edge as Law and Order or Blue Bloods or NCIS or anything like that. And the only difference, of course, we're pointing towards Christ. I want to play the trailer for season 4, which can be seen on Redeem TV. Here's the trailer to Vindication.
I didn't want to drag you into this, but I need your help.
3 suspicious deaths all in the same week.
Why are we here?
I came here today as friends, not in an official capacity.
Well, an investigation isn't just about the smoking gun, so to speak. It's about identifying patterns, trails, small bits of evidence that all piece together and they tell a story.
The system provides
a set of tools to protect the pillars from tampering.
Maybe Travis can get us a name.
I don't care anymore.
Look, sometimes bad things just happen.
You're not invincible, Trey. I know you think you are, but you're not.
More details are surfacing over the police sting in East Bank, Texas that turned into a shootout.
Mr. Travis, we approached you with a very specific task. Care to explain yourself?
I don't think I'm the one who owes an explanation.
Know that the information I gather is solid. You wanted to meet me. Here I am. Now let's put an end to this charade, shall we?
Let's put an end to this charade, shall we? And start watching Vindication, folks. Okay, you can watch it on.
It's
ahead,
also
Ken.
it's got picked up by Angel Studios as well.
Yes. Yes.
So seasons 1, 2, and 3 are on like Up TV or Up Faith TV and Redeem TV and PureFlix and also Amazon. But season 4 got picked up by Redeem TV and Angel Studios. And I guess PureFlix will later grab it because he will soon be releasing a special, I guess, kind of like a feature film, which is maybe like a season 5 or something like that. But anyway, he just continues to raise the bar in excellence, and I just applaud him.
You are awesome on this series. You're in season 2 and 3, and the beginning of season 4.
Yeah,
and you are tremendous up there. And I guess now, because I think that the last episode, if it hasn't dropped already on Redeem TV, you can see it all there. I don't know. Have they finished? All the episodes finished?
Yes. 1,
Okay.
2, 3, and 4 you can see on those platforms that I named. But yes, Redeem TV and Angel Studio. And I think the special that he's doing for season 5, I don't know, but I think that'll be out soon too.
That is an awesome faith-based crime show. You actually introduced that to me a few years ago. I didn't know anything about Vindication. Watched it, fell in love with it. And we've got some really good friends a part of that. TC Stallings, Sharon Lanier, Todd Terry, Venus Monique, Peggy Schott, tremendous actors on that show. So yeah, check it out, folks. If you've never seen it, I highly advise. Go to Redeem TV. And now, as Candace stated, it's also on Angel Studios. So check it out. Candace, I want to ask you about a role of yours, because I think you're one of the best in the business right now, in my opinion. And
could you be my agent?
I was wondering if there was ever a turning point in your career as an actress, whether it was a scene, a fellow actor that maybe you met, a conversation with a director, a moment, an instance where that moment, interaction, changed the trajectory of your career and being better in your craft.
Wow. Well, to me, that was, first of all, that was this training I got. The training I got is because I said up even through undergraduate school, is doing so many shows back to back. And why would one night be really full and the next night not be as full, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to me, to get the skills and tools to learn how to be just completely, fully present in each moment was a gift to me. Not thinking like, how do I get here? No, all of that gets released because you've done all that prep work before you come to it. That was huge for me, is to get that when I got my master's, that was very helpful for me. Second, you're always learning, because then when I moved from stage to film, and stage, you're trying to communicate to rows, 25, 50 rows back. You know what I mean? It's very different than film, where you're like in this little box and you're trying to pull everything back, where just your eyes will indicate so much that is happening. You know what I mean? So it was relearning how to act for camera. I mean, and it's funny when you're filming, you've got a camera here and a camera here and a boom here and light here and people right there. And yet you were supposed to be this intimate, you know, honest with whatever's happening right here smack in front of you. Yet there are so many other things going on right around you or in your face that you are completely having to tune out so that you can be real and truthful in that moment. And learning that was huge.
Okay.
And then another thing too, learning too, was like when God called me out, because when I'm just saying these are huge turning points for me. One of the biggest turning points is when I was working in New York City and I was doing stage and traveling around the United States and other countries, but I was also doing small parts in TV and film. And I just got offered this role in a big film, and I liked my role, but not the message of the film. And it was when God spoke to me and showed me that up until that time, even though I was a Christian, I thought my faith was here and my work was here. I did not understand. I was in my young 20s. I'm going to say I was 23, 24, 25, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
Did not know that it is God who gives us gifts for his glory. At that time, I thought, I have my faith. I read my Bible. I go to church. Okay. And then here's my work. But when he showed me that he's the one that I do things for, it is for his glory, not mine. And that I cannot separate my work. And then I've talked about my prayer closet on so many interviews. But in my prayer closet are the people that I pray for all the time. I have note cards all in it of people that I pray for. But on one side of the wall is what I've written scripture after scripture of how God views work. And that he has created work in advance for us to do. There are so many scriptures on work. And that was hugely transformative for me, was to understand God's will and purpose of why he gives gifts, and they're not separated. It's not compartmentalized. That all of it, I'm going to be authentically, truthfully who I am when I'm having this conversation with you, as when I'm on set, as when I'm conveying the material that the director or the writer has given me. So those were some huge transforming points to me. Getting the training, moving from stage to film, and then how God sees work.
So, Candace, we've talked about My Seven Grandmas and Porch Pirates, your involvement with Vindication, which you've had a great run. And then Running the Bases, you had an opportunity to be in that film with Brett Barble. What is next coming up on the horizon for Candace Kirkpatrick?
Well, I have a lot of things that are all coming out simultaneously. I have a film that just came out on Up TV and I have a small role. It's called The Sugar Creek Amish Mysteries.
Okay.
And I have a Lifetime film that's coming out. I have another movie that's coming out through Fathom Events where I play a smaller role. It's The American Miracle. It's a docudrama. It's God's handprint on the founding of our nation. So I don't know. It has more than 100 actors in it, and it's also narrated. I have a Christmas movie coming out called. Is it called the Christmas Pitch? I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on it. Anyway, there's all these films that are coming out simultaneously. And people go, "You're working nonstop," and I thought, well, I'm not sure about that. It's just everything's coming out at the same time. So right now, I'm part of a web series that I filmed. That's it's very fun and melodramatic, and I do some voiceover stuff. But to me, it's just every day dying to myself, dying to disappointments in this industry, and just saying, okay, Lord, I'm just offering myself to you. Whatever you want to open, and whatever you want to close, may I accept that from you. Accept that from your hand. Because my desire is just to honor him and hopefully bring him into every conversation that I have, wherever he places me, big or small, and to be faithful where he puts me, to be a good steward wherever he places me.
Well, Candace, this has been a great conversation, and I have enjoyed chopping it up with you as usual. I want to thank you for being on the show. And folks, if you're coming in on the very tail end of this, it's okay. Don't worry, because you can listen to this interview in its entirety on Spotify and where all major podcasts are heard, and any random Monday through Friday morning on bogradio.fm at 9 a.m. Eastern. You could possibly hear this interview. So it's okay. And also kchftv.org out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Mountain Time. Not sure what mountain means, but that's what time it comes on.
That's right. The mountains.
That's right. That's right, Candace. Candace, thank you.
Oh, but can I tell you one other thing that I forgot? I'm sorry, Maurice.
Yeah.
I know you need to kick me off. But I started a production company. And so I'm learning how to be a producer because we have a phenomenal script. I have a production company called Trilight Pictures, and we're trying to get a movie done, which also has the amazing, the incredible, talented Karen Abercrombie in it. So I'm trying to raise money to get that done. So that's called Crowning Lori is the name of the movie. And the production company is Trilight Pictures. And I am learning, as I said, you know, when I was talking about earlier, taking advantage of every opportunity to learn everything we can so that, you know, we'll be ready for when somebody says, yes, I want to invest in that. And we're like ready to go. So
sounds great, Candace. Can't wait to hear more about it. And in the meantime, may the peace of Jesus Christ continue to be with you and your family. God bless you.
Back at you, my friend. I love you.
Love you.